Hi, and welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles. But before we get started, a word from one of our supporters.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Hi, and welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles, and as you already know, I'm excited. Excited about bringing information to our members, excited about bringing information to our community, helping our community grow, and today we're really talking about health.
We are.
And we have Miss Lisa Keenan she is the Regional Vice President, Employee Benefits and Healthcare Solutions. She's expert, and she's with an organization that I think we all know. I think you probably have used them once or twice, probably just yesterday, probably this morning, and that's Amazon. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great.
But before we get started, I'd like folks to know a little bit about you, where you're from. Are you a Floridian? South Floridian?
I am not.
Okay.
I am not. And boy, we could take the whole time just talking about that. Born and raised in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
Spent 9 years in Portland, Maine, in the Northeast.
Okay.
And have been down in Florida for since the early 2000s.
Okay.
After doing a little stint back in Seattle for 9 years.
Okay.
Came back to Florida and have been back, and I'm never leaving.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to leave. So we're coming into that time of the year
Absolutely.
that we all long for.
Yeah.
When that temperature, I say it's that morning you get up and you feel that light breeze.
Yes.
Like, oh, it's here.
It's great, and all of the relatives are calling to plan their time to come visit.
Yeah, exactly. So, healthcare and Amazon, and before we got started, we're kind of joking. Amazon has gotten into the healthcare provider business, I guess.
Absolutely.
Explain that a little bit.
So Amazon Health Services, or AHS, has been around for a number of years.
Okay.
Amazon has decided to enter the healthcare space to disrupt the healthcare space, as they
That's
are typically.
Everything's been getting disrupted since
Exactly,
COVID.
exactly. And so you've probably heard about, Amazon Pharmacy. If you're an Amazon
Right.
member, you've likely heard about that. Well, they acquired One Medical, which is the division that I'm in, about 2 years ago.
Okay, so they didn't just go out and start their own.
They did not go out and just start this. Actually, One Medical has been around for about 17 years.
Okay.
And Amazon strategically acquired us because we really fit the model of being customer obsessed.
Right.
And our model really is a membership-based enhanced primary care practice that has both brick and mortar clinics throughout the country, but also 24/7 virtual care. And really what we offer that makes things different than the rest of the competition is we offer same day and next day appointments at the primary care level, which I think you could probably attest to is pretty much unheard of,
Right.
especially in South Florida. If you were to talk to somebody about getting in to see a primary care physician, typically it's going to be a matter of weeks, if not months.
Right.
So by giving them the access when you need it, it's actually going to help bring down healthcare costs, because when you can't get in to see somebody today or tomorrow, what are your options? You either go to the emergency room, go to an urgent care
Right.
center, which drives up costs, or even worse, you just fail to get the treatment and the
That part.
condition gets worse, right? So by giving people access to healthcare when they need it, we can alleviate the higher medical costs and actually give patients a really great experience where they're going to be able to develop a relationship with their provider and want to see that provider because they know they can get in there and develop that relationship.
That's interesting because, again, like I said before we got started, I've heard the commercials, and that was more from the pharmacy side.
Sure.
I didn't realize that there was a actual medical side of it.
There is now, yes, exactly. Amazon purchased us, they said, about 2 years ago in 2022. But the Amazon Pharmacy has been around, I believe, a little bit longer than that. The nice thing now, since the acquisition is complete and we're fully on board as Amazon One Medical, is we have access to the pharmacy as well. So if you do go to see your primary care provider and you need a prescription, they'll be able to access to see if it's in stock at Amazon Pharmacy, have it delivered to you same day. If
And
they
maybe
can,
even before you get home.
And maybe even before you get home, right? At worst case, probably next day, depending
Right.
on the time of your appointment.
Right.
So it alleviates you having to then go to stop at Walgreens and wait for your prescription to be ready. So it's really a one-stop shop because in addition to seeing your provider, all of our clinics have on-site labs. So there's no more having to go to Quest or LabCorp and fitting that into your schedule. We can do it all at the time of your appointment, call in your prescription, and so you leave and that's it. And you can really see your provider and have an appointment on your lunch break because your your appointment starts on time.
Okay.
There's no waiting 20 minutes or 30 minutes in the lobby and then waiting in a cold, sterile room. Everything really from the time that you book the appointment and you leave the doctor is really a different experience. As I said, the wait time in our lobbies, even though they're very comfortable lobbies, it's almost like you're in a cafe or a spa. It's less than 2 minutes.
Really?
I was at a provider's office a while ago, and I waited in the lobby for 20 minutes, and I waited in the room for the provider for another 30 minutes. So
that's one thing. I don't. Well, you may know why more so, and I think it's more of they're just double booking and making sure that people.
It's unfortunately it's become more of a fee-for-service model,
Right.
And you are rewarded for the more patients you see. But under our model, it's not like that. Our providers are salaried; they're capped at 16 patients a day. They cannot see
Okay.
more than 6. So if you do the math, that's 30 minutes per patient. Our providers actually have time to take a lunch break. So it alleviates the burnout that the providers have been experiencing because there's not that churn and burn. It's really focused on the patient and developing care to make sure that they have a healthy experience. And as I said, when you speak to somebody that has tried this model versus the old model, I think there's a stark contrast. People love this model.
Yeah. Again, you go to your doctor or clinic or whatever, and you're sitting there. You get a time 10 o'clock, and they don't see you till 10:45.
Exactly.
It is a bit annoying. And you kind of explained how they're able to do it because, as you said, the providers are salaried and they have a set number of patients to see.
Exactly. And our goal is to treat about 85% of the conditions at the primary care level. So we're not having to refer out to specialists. In the event that we do have to refer to specialists, we partner with health system partners in the community. And for us down here, our health system partner is University of Miami Health.
Okay. No, that's a major point that you bring up. I want to go a little deeper into that. We're going to take a break in a minute.
Sure.
But what made you get into this health field?
It's interesting. I actually started in the dental arena and in employee benefits, and have just kind of migrated my way into the medical field. I've done some work on the carrier side for the insurance carriers, MetLife, Aflac, in employee benefits.
Okay.
And it's kind of one of those places where once you get in, it's hard to get out.
Right.
And really probably my biggest catalyst for jumping into the healthcare arena is I was working for Blue Cross of Massachusetts in the Medicare division. So I worked with providers and Medicare beneficiaries. And that's really dating myself going back to my New England days.
Right. Well, we're going to take a little break. We're going to hear from one of our supporters, and we'll be right back.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable high-tech and in-demand career programs, including cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, business, and nursing. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
Hi, and welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I am your host, Eric Knowles, and we are here with Miss Lisa Keenan, and we're talking about health. We're talking about medical providers. And before we took a break, the one thing in particular, I guess you probably see it more as you get older. You get referrals, or it depends on what it is. I mean,
Correct.
You could be young and get a referral because your primary doctor doesn't necessarily take care of that particular issue.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit, because you said that you all actually have a system where you're not necessarily having to refer.
Exactly. As I mentioned, about 85% of the conditions can be treated at the primary care level. And we believe that healthcare and the good healthcare journey really starts at the primary care level. So we only refer out when it's absolutely necessary. In fact, the top 30 chronic conditions we can treat at the primary care level. And since we're not on that fee-for-service model by referring out and getting incentivized that way, we can do that in-house and get treated there, because a lot of times people that could be treated at the primary care level, but there's incentive to send them out to a specialist, that's what's going to happen, unfortunately, because it all comes down to the almighty dollar. But what we do is we keep them in-house because we don't have the incentive to refer out, only when it's absolutely necessary. And as I mentioned, we do partner with the top tier health systems throughout the country when that is a need.
Okay, so, and I'm deciphering this in my head, having the ability to deal with a particular issue, you have the specialists in there, or now you just mentioned you have other organizations that support you as well.
The specialists are with our partner networks, like
Okay.
exactly. So we are primary care focused, but we do have the partnership with those health systems when there is a
There's a need.
condition that needs to refer out to a specialist. But again, that's only about 15% of the conditions that we treat.
Yeah. So what would you say, why would someone, for instance, if they have primary care, they're going, what would make them come over to your organization?
I would say the top thing would be access and the experience.
Okay.
I talk to people all the time and ask you, if I asked you to talk to me about your last experience with your primary care, how would you describe that?
I had to wait a little while.
Most people don't use the word, oh, it was incredible, it was delightful, I love my doctor.
Right.
But that's what you're going to get when you come to Amazon One Medical, because we are, as Amazon is, customer obsessed. That carries over from the Amazon Marketplace into the Amazon Health Services. And so every step of the way, whether it's making the appointment same day or next day, from the time you walk into the door, from the time you leave, everything about that experience is meant to be centered around making it just the exceptional experience that can be had. And I think that is in stark contrast with what we've just grown to accept as the norm in the
Right.
industry, as I'm gonna have to wait and I'm going to spend 20 minutes regurgitating to my doctor what's wrong with me, even though he saw me, 6 months ago, and going through all of that again. You're not gonna get that with this experience.
Okay.
It's an incredibly different model.
Now, where are the offices located?
So in South Florida, I'm happy to say we've launched just about 18 months ago in South Florida, and we've been one of the most successful launches for One Medical, which is great for South Florida. And now we actually just had our 7th clinic open last week in Dadeland.
Okay.
So we do have 7 actual brick and mortar clinics down in the South Florida area. More to come, But in addition to that, we do have access, or you would have access to the 24/7 virtual care. So if you're traveling or if you're not in close proximity to one of our clinics, you can access care virtually too.
And talk about that a little bit, the virtual care.
Yes, the
and how-
virtual care, it's very interesting because there's really three concepts. And it's funny how COVID kind of really was an impetus to make virtual care more acceptable, right?
Right.
But with our virtual care model, we really have three different categories. There's a Treat Me Now via the app, which is, you don't know if you really need to see a doctor or not, but you can go onto the app, answer a few questions, and then one of our virtual care team members will get back to you within 4 hours and talk to you about the suggested or recommended course of action. We also have an urgent video chat, so if you have an urgent condition and you want to talk to somebody right away, you can do that urgent video chat and speak with the provider right now. If you don't have an urgent issue, but you know you need to get in to see a doctor, but you really don't want to go in to see them, you can schedule a virtual appointment for a future date. So those are really the three ways of doing the virtual care.
Right. Wow. And what percentage of the patients use the virtual care versus going? Is there a percentage, or how?
It varies by different locations and by, of course, by patients. It varies. The folks that live close to the clinics generally will go into the clinic because there is that easy access same day or next day. It's mostly the people that are maybe not within close proximity or that are traveling that would use that virtual care. It is a very large percentage. I don't have the numbers right off the top of my head, but yes, it's very well received and used because it is such an easy feature to use.
And what about children?
We do have, absolutely. We've got clinics that do include pediatrics, and so they will see newborns to nanas. Not all of our clinics are that way, but definitely in the South Florida, we have 2 clinics that do treat pediatrics.
Okay. This is very interesting. And again, you see Amazon, as it has grown, going into this medical arena. Have there been challenges?
I would say the biggest challenge so far is just prior to the Amazon merger would have been kind of name recognition and getting people to understand what One Medical is. Now with the power of Amazon, I think that the name recognition is going to be more easier accessible to people. People will start here. As you mentioned, you'd heard some commercials. I think
Right.
you're going to start seeing more of that. And I think that's really been the biggest challenge is the name recognition. Once we've been able to introduce the concept, especially to employers that may be wanting to look for better benefits to offer to their employees, the biggest challenge is getting them to understand the experience and the concept. So what we do offer is clinic visits. So I will say to an employer or to their benefit broker, let's come in and do a walkthrough and experience, talk to our providers, see what the patient is going to experience, what the employee is going to experience. And people come in, they love it, they walk away thinking that this is just really a no-brainer from the patient experience level.
And speaking about it, obviously we are a chamber, we service membership.
Sure.
From that perspective, and you just mentioned it, how easy is it for a company or a business to do business with you?
It's very easy, and I say that coming from other companies working with employers too. I think this is a very easy process to get up and running. Typically, we could have it up and launched a company within 30 to 60 days. Okay. It's a very easy process. There's not a lot of data that needs to go back and forth, as some other health companies you do. So this is a very easy process.
Is there a cutoff? Does it have to be more than 2 employees, or is there?
From the employer perspective, it's 10 employees.
Okay.
But Amazon does offer the direct-to-consumer model as well. So for the smaller companies, it might be an option to just buy individual memberships. Okay. But 10 and above can qualify for the One Medical for Business model.
Well, how can someone get in touch with you?
I can be reached at lkeenan@onemedical.com, or I'm on LinkedIn. You can access me via LinkedIn at Lisa Keenan.
Okay. Is there a number they could reach out to you?
Absolutely, 954-399-0999.
Okay. This has been the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. This has been Ms. Keenan with One Medical, Amazon. Reach out to her if you want to learn more about the opportunity to do business with them. We look forward to seeing you next time. Today, I stand before you, a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College and the 5th president of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to return to the college that prepared me to become a leader in our community, providing an education second to none. So I'm asking you to please tune in every Monday at 12 noon to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce's Member Connection as I interview members of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on our Facebook page at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce or our YouTube channel, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. To learn more about the Chamber, please go to m-dcc.org or call the Chamber at 305-751-8648.